Attention, passionate Dallas Cowboys fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC East, and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Dallas Cowboys' path to another championship run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before we dive in, if you're a true Dallas Cowboys fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your friends and fellow Dallas Cowboys fans. Let's get to the news. Now, guys, if you've been following the NFL, if you've been watching the Cowboys closely, you know that this offseason has been anything but ordinary. It has been a whirlwind of rumors, strategic moves, and a lot of questions about what's next for America's team. And today, we're diving deep into a story that could reshape the Cowboys' future in ways we haven't seen in decades. We're talking about the potential return of a legend, a man who is not just a Hall of Famer, but also someone with a legacy that is intertwined with the history of this franchise. Yes, I am talking about Deion Sanders, the guy affectionately known as Coach Prime, and the buzz around him stepping back into the NFL, specifically as the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys, is gaining momentum. You see, the Cowboys are at a bit of a crossroads right now. The current landscape isn't exactly what you'd call ideal. They're dealing with a quarterback, Dak Prescott, who, despite his talent and leadership qualities, has often been criticized for inconsistency. It is no secret that the team's defense, once a hallmark of their identity, has taken a hit without Micah Parsons, at times showing the same dominance. The division they're in, the NFC East, is one of the most competitive in the entire league, with the Commanders, Eagles, and Giants all vying for supremacy. That makes it incredibly tough for multiple teams to reach double-digit wins, let alone compete for a deep playoff run. And let us be honest, if the Cowboys stumble again this season, if they don't meet expectations, the franchise could be looking at some drastic changes. One of those changes, many believe, could be a coaching shakeup. That's where Deion Sanders comes into the picture. Now, let me take a moment to give you some background on this. Sanders, after a highly successful stint in college football with Colorado, where he has been making waves as one of the highest-paid coaches in the sport, has long-standing ties to Dallas. He played for the Cowboys from 1995 to 1999, and during that time, he didn't just contribute on the field. He became a cultural icon, a symbol of excellence and swagger. He earned a Super Bowl ring during his tenure, and his impact on the franchise and the city of Dallas remains undeniable. Recently, reports confirmed that Jerry Jones, the owner of the Cowboys, reached out to Sanders after the vacancy was created by Mike McCarthy's departure. Now, this is not just idle talk. It is a significant move that has fans buzzing. Sanders himself described the call as intriguing and delightful, which, if you ask me, is a pretty clear indication that he is at least considering the possibility of a return to the NFL. Think about it. A guy who is known for his charisma, leadership, and ability to energize teams. Imagine the kind of impact he could have on this Cowboys roster, especially with the current roster challenges they're facing. What makes this even more compelling is Sanders' reputation outside the gridiron. His energy, his ability to connect with players, his media presence, all of these elements could bring a new vibe to Dallas, something that this team desperately needs. The Cowboys, historically, have been a franchise that thrives on star power and big personalities. Sanders fits that mold perfectly. Some analysts see a return of Coach Prime as a high-risk, high-reward move, an all-in shot that could transform the franchise's culture and on-field performance almost overnight. But there is a lot to consider, especially with his current commitments in college football. Speaking of which, Sanders recently signed a lucrative 5-year, $54 million contract with Colorado, making him one of the highest-paid coaches in college football. That is no small feat, especially considering the kind of talent and resources he has been able to leverage there. But as you might imagine, the emotional and strategic calculus isn't just about money or fame. Sanders has spoken openly about some recent personal challenges, specifically the loss of his son and quarterback, Shedeur. That tragedy, however heartbreaking, has also led to some surprising reflections. Sanders has mentioned that losing Shedeur has allowed Colorado to strengthen its roster and has helped him balance his dual roles as coach and father. However, there are whispers that a buyout might be possible, and that is where things get really interesting. His contract includes a declining buyout schedule, initially $12 million through December 2025, then decreasing over the next few years to as low as $3 million in 2029. This means that, theoretically, if Sanders wanted to leave Colorado after Shedeur's departure, or if the opportunity in Dallas presented itself, it could be financially feasible. The question then becomes, would Sanders consider such a move? And more importantly, would Jerry Jones be willing to make the financial investment necessary to bring him back? Now, let us not forget that the Cowboys recently hired Brian Schottenheimer as their head coach after the departure of Mike McCarthy. But this was an in-house move, a quick transition that many fans saw as a placeholder. The reality is, the NFL coaching carousel is always spinning, and with Sanders' high profile and his demonstrated ability to energize teams, it is not out of the realm of possibility that Dallas might look for a more transformational figure if the season doesn't go as planned. And here's where things get even more interesting. Sanders has made it clear that he'd only consider an NFL head coaching role if it allowed him to coach his sons. Now, Deion Sanders is currently a third-string quarterback for the Cleveland Browns, behind veterans Joe Flacco and Dylan Gabriel. That is a significant detail, because it highlights how complex the family dynamics are and how they could influence his decision-making. The situation with Shedeur, combined with the fact that Sanders has expressed a desire to be with his family and coach his sons, adds an emotional layer to this story that you don't see every day in the NFL coaching world. Of course, reuniting the Sanders family in Dallas would be one of the most compelling narratives in recent league history. But the challenges are just as significant. Roster restructuring, draft logistics, salary cap considerations, and the financial implications of buyouts all come into play. The Cowboys aren't just dealing with a coaching change. They're facing a strategic overhaul if Sanders were to come aboard. And let us be real, the NFL is a business built on timing, opportunity, and a bit of luck. Looking at the broader picture, Sanders' tenure at Colorado has been nothing short of sensational. He has turned a struggling program into a national sensation, drawing attention from all corners of college football. But his roots in Dallas, the city where he made a name for himself, remain strong. His legacy there is substantial, and many fans still see him as one of the most electrifying players in franchise history. A return to Dallas could be viewed not just as a coaching move, but as a cultural renaissance, a chance to rekindle that old magic that made the Cowboys a perennial powerhouse. Yet, without Shedeur, the emotional and strategic considerations shift. If Sanders were to leave after 2025, it would be driven more by personal reasons than just professional ambitions. Money, autonomy, and legacy now intersect in ways that make this story even more layered. Will he stay in college, especially with the high-profile success he is enjoying now? Or will the allure of returning to the NFL, and specifically to Dallas, prove too strong to resist? That is the million-dollar question that everyone is asking right now. As we analyze everything, it is clear that the potential of Sanders returning to Dallas is more than just a rumor or a pipe dream. It is a complex, multi-layered scenario that could reshape the NFC East and potentially the entire league landscape. The Cowboys are not just looking for a coach. They're looking for a culture changer, a motivator, someone who can inspire this team to new heights. Sanders, with his energy, charisma, and proven track record, fits that mold perfectly. But it is also about timing, finances, and family. And in the NFL, those are the variables that make or break legendary stories. And now, Dallas Cowboys fans, I want to hear from you. What is your take on this? Do you believe Sanders will make the leap back to the NFL and don the star again? Or do you think he is committed to Colorado for the long haul? Would you welcome a return of Coach Prime with open arms? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Cowboys. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates. So stay tuned for the latest Dallas Cowboys news. We're here to keep you informed, engaged, and always ahead of the curve when it comes to everything surrounding America's team.